Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Late Night Worship. So, we are going to do a quick one. Tonight, we're going to read from Matthew 25:14 through 30. But after that, we're also going to talk about, it has here in the Leadership Bible, this is a devotional tool that we used in Lyft. It has 52 weeks of leadership principles and where we can find them in the Bible. So, like, it talks about delegating, it talks about organization, and this week is stewardship. So let's look at it. So Matthew 25:14 through 30, the parable of the talents. Again, it will be like a man, so this is Jesus talking. It'll be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his property to them. To one he gave 5 talents of money, to another 2 talents, and to another 1 talent, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received the 5 talents went at once and put his money to work, and gained 5 more. So also the one with the 2 talents gained 2 more. But the man who had received the 1 talent went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received the 5 talents brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I've gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. The man with the 2 talents came also. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 talents. See, I've gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man who had received the 1 talent came. Master, he said, I knew you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your talent in the ground. See, here's what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well, then you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so when I return, I would have received it back with interest. Take the talent from him and give it to the one who has the 10 talents. For everyone who has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken from him. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Yikes. So let's look at what the Leadership Bible has a... So they have an excerpt here and talks about stewardship regarding that day. That was a weird way to say it, but basically they're talking about this one leadership principle, and we'll see what they have to say. So consider for a moment that everyone on earth has the same amount of time every day. President or paperboy, housewife or executive, farmer or financier, they all have exactly 24 hours in each day. What differentiates people isn't the amount of time available to them, but the manner in which they exercise their gifts and talents within the available time. That's what stewardship is about. Faithfully developing and using our gifts and talents and resources within the amount of time God has allotted to us. Within every stewardship relationship, there are 2 parties involved. There's the master, who hands out the resources and will one day ask for an accounting, and the steward, who is entrusted with the resources and must eventually answer for how they were invested. When Jesus talked about his second coming, he drove home one important lesson. Only faithful stewards will be prepared for his return. The parable he used to make this point involved 3 servants who each received a sum of money from his master before that master departed on a long journey. Upon his return, the master discovered that 2 of the servants had invested the money and that 1 had buried it. When the servant who had buried the money began offering excuses, the master refused to accept them. Instead, he rebuked the lazy servant and punished him severely. Meanwhile, the faithful servants enjoyed the rewards they had received for their diligent labor. So leaders are stewards. They manage multiple resources because they direct others in using their own resources. So consider ways of investing the multiple resources God has placed under your trust. And this is the devotional that Brianna and I read this morning. before we started our work day here at Camp of the Woods. And it was really interesting because it brought to mind that everything that we have is not ours. Like, we have these on loan, you know? Like, I'm gonna be the manager of the Hill Dining Hall, and that is not mine. Like, God has given me this, and He expects me to give it back to Him at the end of the summer. And so He expects me to give it back to Him at the end of the summer, and to have an investment, like to give more. Like, He expects me to have done more with it during the summer, with the talents that He's given me. So as you do your work, and as you just do life, realize that God has given you specific gifts and talents, and He expects a return. He expects you to answer for. He expects you to answer for it. Really, like He says at the end of it, "What have you done with what I've given you?" Basically. So that was a bit everywhere, but I'm glad you listened to it all, and you have a good night. Yeah, I don't have any other words to say. Catch you on Thursday.